Perfect.
Hello, hello, and welcome. Hope everybody's doing well today. We have a guest in the studio, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you guys before we jump into this conversation.
Hi, everybody. My name is Renee Thompson. I am the executive director, founder, and creator of Socialite Stars nonprofit movement. Socialite Stars is a nonprofit organization in which we educate and empower the community on the effects of social media trauma and cyberbullying. We also talk about digital wellness, digital well being. We also talk about the healing journey because let's face it, after you get attacked on social media, you definitely need to go through the healing journey. So that is what our nonprofit speaks about. That is our mission. That's what we love to encourage and empower the community about.
That's beautiful. And I think that's very necessary in the climate that we live in because everything revolves
Yes.
around social media. And
Everything.
honestly, it's one of the factors that kind of kept me from pursuing and doing the things that I want to do. I'm still iffy about creating content. I'm not
Don't
here for
self
it.
sabotage. You can do it.
I can do this part of it. This part is easy for me, but like the creating and like putting myself out there and getting
Yes.
behind the camera for
Mhm.
real is so nerve-wracking to me.
It is. It's a lot. I understand my other business, Socialite. We also provide digital content for businesses. So I totally understand like having to talk to our owner and be like, hey, I need you to get on camera. I need you to talk about your space. I need you to tell people why they need to be here. And they're like, no, I just want you to create content. I'm like, no, you are the content too, ma'am or sir. Like I need you
Right.
to.
People are going to gravitate towards you, so you have to.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Okay, well, why don't you tell us your story? How did this get started? Where did this come from?
Okay, so Socialite Stars comes from a true story, my story of a family member who decided to post a negative event that happened in my home when she was living with me at the time. My sister is the person that did it.
Okay.
Um, and she, unbeknownst to me, she recorded it. So a lot of things transpired even before she posted it on social media.
Okay.
So the event happened in February, and because the consequences that she felt like me and my husband needed to have did not happen, she felt like she needed to tell everybody on Facebook. And she posted my picture, my husband's picture, our two boys, her nephews, so she embarrassed them. Um,
Wow.
my business logo, the socialite logo at the time. So you can imagine the firestorm that happened with that. And she posted it on Facebook because she knew that was where the majority of my followers came from. She knew that the majority of the people that knows our family would make the most noise and be the most, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Hmm.
So that's the first time it happened. And at the time, I just couldn't believe that she would do that, first of all, because if somebody's supposed to be
Yeah,
a
it's your
family,
sister. You don't
yeah,
think that somebody's
yeah,
gonna put you in a position in harm's way like that.
gotcha. So that is when I started getting, if anybody had access to my messenger or email or text, that's when those started coming. And of course, we know with social media, once it's shared once, it can be shared as many times as it needs to be shared if it's public.
Hmm.
So I had people calling me. A lot of people were shocked that they heard it. A lot of people decided to unfriend me. A lot of people decided to block me, whatever the case may be. And unfortunately, that was 2021. And between 2021 and 2024, she would have like this story time on her TikTok. And I had her blocked on all social media for at that point. And
Hmm.
the only reason why I would know she would talk about it is because people started coming on my TikTok page saying, "Oh, you're a horrible mother. Why would you do that?" And I'm like, this girl done started talking about this again. Like, it's so
Like,
old at this point. Like, why? And
yeah,
by
years later.
right, and by that time, she had a big TikTok following. So she like some people. You just try to figure out why do you like negative attention, but unfortunately, she likes negative attention.
Attention. It's attention, period.
Correct. So we're going to fast forward to February of this year when I started Socialite Stars. And I was doing some motivational speaking at a vendor event. because I'm trying to get socialite stars out there. So I talk about healing as an entrepreneur. I talk about healing. The socialite stars talks about healing in all aspects, social media trauma, cyberbullying, as an entrepreneur, things of that nature. And when I try to explain to people how she found out, when they're like, but I thought you blocked her. I did. But one of the people at the event posted it on their IG story. They sent it to her because there's a part in the speaking engagement where I said, I wish my mother would have went to therapy because then I wouldn't have gone through some of the things that I go through now. Not talking about my mother in a negative way. I'm just saying, I just wish she would have went to therapy. So somebody sent that to her, and she decides to talk about the same thing that happened 3 years ago on TikTok. Now, mind you, we're talking about this year, a major social media platform. She has thousands upon thousands upon thousands of followers. So you can imagine what I went through on Facebook 3 years ago, and I want you to multiply that by like 10.
Right, TikTok now, because TikTok is very big.
Yes.
And I know some people, sometimes it is, depending on which side of TikTok you can be on.
Yes.
It can be very comforting. It can be very
community.
Me too. But I know that it gets bad too. Like people are very nasty.
They're very mean. It got to a point that TikTok actually was sending me notifications saying we detect bullying being on your page, so we have put extra precautions on your page. So I had to turn my comments off. So if somebody was trying to comment, I had to go in and review or delete it, accept it or delete it. That I was getting emails, phone calls. I still have the voice messages saved because I had to save them for the court appearance, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So because of all of this, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder because there's going to always be guilt to what happened. And it does not matter if our children forgave us for it. She still feels like in her mind, she wants to embarrass me at any point. She went live for 2 hours. We were able to screen record. I had some people screen record her live. She just kept saying, nobody's going to talk about my mama. It just sounded real high schoolish. And she's in her mid to late 20s at this point. So it was like, well, I could see there's no growth that has been done. And I think the turning point this year for me was I get a call from HR at work.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, we've had some employees tell us that something came up on their TikTok. And of course they're older. So the older HR, so they don't understand you don't have to follow her. It can come up in the FYP. So I'm trying to explain to them how they're like, well, wait a minute. Do they follow? Do they even know her? I'm like, no. It
doesn't matter.
This is how it's
trending.
Right. I was like, this is how it works. When it gets to a certain level of views, it actually goes viral to a certain level. So they were like, oh, so they don't know her. I'm like, no. I was like, evidently they like drama because it came up in their FYP. I said, but that's another story for another day. Because I told them that just like that. I was like, if that came up in their FYP, that's the drama that they like.
That's the type of stuff that you look for. So
correct.
You're engaging.
So because it was accusations of me hurting my children, she had to ask me, was this investigated? And I was like, yes, it was investigated 3 years ago. I had to show her the paperwork and everything like that. So once I gave her the paperwork, she said, okay, so this just sounds like a disgruntled family member that's just trying to embarrass you. I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, okay. And they dropped it. And it was, I didn't lose my job. But I was so embarrassed that I left work. And I said, let me go down here to the magistrate's office and see if I can file cyber stalking charges. Because by then, I had all the screen recordings of when she went live. I had all the emails from her followers. I had all the text messages from her followers. I had all the nasty voice messages saved from her followers. So I had enough evidence. And when I went to the magistrate and I gave them that information, and at first they made it seem like they didn't know if the DA would pick it up. Then I got a notification that they were going to pick it up. And I said, okay.
I would say, because if anything, even if she's not the one that's like antagonizing you.
Correct. Yes. And I'm going to get to
facilitating that.
Yes. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute in regards to the court and how the DA handled it. So at first in May, first appearance, do you want to do a mediate? No, I don't want to do mediation. No, they try to put us with like this older person,
You can say, go ahead, say it.
this older Caucasian man that I know for a fact, if I even tried to explain to him what trending meant, what repost meant, what cyberbullying meant, it was no point in me trying to explain this to him.
Right.
So he was like, do you want, I said, no, I don't want to do mediation. We can go to trial for this. I said, this is not the first time she's done this. I'm going to trial. And in her body language, she was like, I don't think she thought that it was going to be like the last time.
She didn't realize how big
Yes.
the gravity of the situation.
Yes.
Like, you think
Correct.
this is cute.
I
You're
could have
doing
lost
what
my
you're
job.
doing, but you're impacting my life at this point.
Correct. I could have lost my job. I could have lost my job. I think the only reason why I didn't jump off the deep end, because I had to find a light and be like, okay, people know about Socialite Stars now. Because by then,
Redirect that energy.
By then, the nonprofit page was up, and they was coming to it, and it's sad because it was kids that were commenting. I think that's the most part that concerned me. Some of those profiles, I clicked on them, and I'm like, "You're a kid. You're a kid."
And them little gremlins is mean and nasty.
You're a kid engaging in a adult's negativity. So that's where I talk about stop giving your power away to people on social media. That's like in my podcast. I talk about that on one of my TikTok videos. But going back to the situation. So we go to trial in August. And we do the trial, and they show one video, because they had, of course, I had given them so much proof, but it was one video that stood out that helped them to prove that there were cyber stalking charges. So because in the video, she was telling people to pin my Instagram page to the top so people could go to it, that is why she was found guilty. Because when you dox somebody, you're telling your followers to go to that page, that's cyber stalking somebody. And the DA, first of all, I'm one of the first cases in Mecklenburg County to get a guilty verdict for cyber stalking. And so the DA, that was the first cyber stalking charge. So I was in there upset, mad, and angry, but I was happy too, because I kept seeing like lawyers going in and out. And I asked her at the end, I was like, why did I see so many lawyers? She said, because you're one of the first cases in Mecklenburg County to move forward and I get a mediation. So they were in here taking notes just in case they get that on their desk and they want to see how to go forward with it. But it wasn't easy. I mean, the cyber stalking charge in North Carolina, they had a huge, thick book that they were looking at. So they were looking at the book.
Because it's so new. There aren't, like, the legislation has not caught up to the world that we live in online.
Correct. So they were teaching themselves, along with looking at the footage, along with, questioning me, asking me questions. And I'll never forget the final, when the DA does the final comments, that's not the right word, but final
closing
presentation
arguments.
to their closing arguments. Thank you. And my cousin went up there, I guess, to speak to my sister's character. But what she messed up was when the DA asked her, did she say why she posted what she did? And she said, yeah, because she was angry about what she said about her mother. And my DA's closing arguments was, so it's okay for someone to go on social media and post negative things about their family because they're angry. That's what that closing argument right there got her the charge that she cannot get rid of. She couldn't go to jail because it's a misdemeanor, unfortunately, and it was her first time. So it was it was crazy. All women judge, women lawyers, women's defense. It was kind of cool, but it was kind of sad at the same time.
It's not, the situation itself is not cool, but honestly, like, this is trailblazing. This is history making.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't look at it in that aspect. I looked at it, and I had this same shirt on, matter of fact, now that we're talking about it in court. I look at it like, I always ask God, why is this happening to me? Because a lot of people don't realize I have not talked to my mother's side of the family since this happened in 2021. So it has been a lot of trauma behind one person's decision to embarrass somebody. There's been a lot of trauma behind it. So my situation with my sister is done because she cannot do it anymore. Because if she does, she actually can go to jail for it the next time. But the situation with my mother's side of the family is still,
Yeah.
I don't talk to them because they've always felt like she's family and this happened 3 years ago and you should be over it by now.
Yeah,
So
no,
when,
I don't. I do
and
not
you know, I
subscribe to
don't,
that narrative.
yeah, I don't either. I don't either. Because my thing is this, she did it again this year. So what in your mind thinks that this is okay? And what are you telling to her? Well, I already know because it was a part in the live. She picks up her other phone and laughs and said, my mother's going to kill me. Y'all, this my mama. This my mama, y'all. She probably tell me to get the F off. It was, as a teacher.
Yeah.
She's a teacher, mind you.
Oh.
And I'll never forget when her lawyer said that, and every lawyer in the gallery looked up from their phones, and they were like,
What?
She's a teacher,
Confusion.
and she was on there going live like that, and but I tell people all the time, it can be anybody. I honestly felt like a celebrity. I joke about it sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I felt like a celebrity because y'all go in on these celebrities all the time. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's why celebrities go in the depression that they go into. Like I've listened to Megan Thee Stallion's story about.
Oh my God, that documentary broke my heart.
People saying to her, he should have killed you. Like who does that? But now I see why. I've had people tell me, I hope your kids don't take care of you when you get older. You don't deserve to heal. I got comments like that, like you don't deserve to heal. You don't deserve to grow. I understand what Cardi B had to go through to sue that person. I understand what
spreading lies, and it has real life.
Jelly Roll went through some stuff too when he was like he had to get off of social media for a little while because people do not have empathy. I talk about that in my digital citizenship workshops.
What happened to the world?
Yes. What happened to empathy? Because all it takes is somebody to record your mistake and post it. It takes one person.
And it's like y'all sitting here and throwing rocks, and y'all live in glass houses, baby. Because who knows what you're doing behind closed doors that somebody else could feel the same way about the things that you're saying about me. Mm-hmm. Nobody's perfect.
Yes.
Everybody's flawed in one way or another. And it's not up to us to be a judge of that or to crucify them for something.
Absolutely.
Especially without context.
Right. And I talk about this also in my podcast. You are only seeing one side to the narrative. One side to the narrative. One. There's so many other things that led up to that situation that my kids was telling me that she was doing behind my back. But the thing is, and that's why people are like, they don't know how I did it. I have yet to say her name on any public platform when I do interviews, when I do parent workshops. I have yet to say her name. I have yet to give out her Instagram because I'm not going to do the same thing you did to me. I'm not going to give you that power. I could tell my story. I could tell how I survived my story. Unfortunately, you are a part of the story. I can't leave you out, unfortunately, because you did it. But what I can say is you don't have to let whatever you've been through in your life, you don't have to let that stop you. You don't, I tell people all the time, you had a purpose before they had an opinion. Yes. That's one of my favorite quotes that I say in my speaking engagements. You had a purpose before they had an opinion. I promise you did. They're going to say what they want to say. They're going to feel how they want to feel. And in about 48 hours, they're going to be on somebody else's business.
Yeah, talking about something else.
Right.
It comes and goes. They're just looking for the next thing, whatever is trending or intriguing at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're going to be worried about somebody else's business about 48 hours. But what I did appreciate was how TikTok did put a handle on my page in a certain way. I really did appreciate that from that
That's good to
platform.
know.
Yeah, I didn't know they did that, but I'm talking to some people who are like big into TikTok and have a lot of followers and get paid from TikTok. They did tell me, they were like, "Oh yeah, TikTok actually, well, they don't play that. They don't. Once they keep seeing people coming, like
Hmm.
people, thousands of people coming to your page, and they are writing negative comments, they'll put a little more eyes on your page to protect you, which I
That's a
was
good,
glad to hear
that's
about. So
beautiful. I
yeah.
like to hear that. I like to hear that. So tell me about digital wellness. This is a term that I have never heard before. So I'm curious to know like what it means and how that works into your nonprofit.
So digital wellness is being well with your digital device, having boundaries with your digital device. That is digital wellness. That is placing screen time limits on your phone. That is placing boundaries on your digital device. It doesn't even have to be your phone. It can be your laptop. It can be your tablet. It can be a video game, any digital device that is going to take you away from bettering yourself, growing yourself into a better person. That's what digital wellness is. A digital wellness is basically putting in those boundaries that a lot of us don't think about.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually, it's so funny that you say that because yesterday I told myself that I'm gonna stop getting on social media or whatever
Mm-hmm.
in the morning. So no social media, no nothing until I've done everything else that I need to do because it'll
Mm-hmm.
stall me out and then it'll slow my day down or I'll see something, especially like after the election was
Yes.
very heavy for me. And at first
Mm-hmm.
it the gravity of the situation did not really register. It was just like, okay, it
Yeah.
happened and now and then seeing all of the things and the things that people were saying and how the climate was changing, it was really scary.
Yeah, it
So
was.
to wonder like where this is going to go. So I had to, that was kind of what sparked it. I was like, no, I need to take a
Mm-hmm.
break
Right.
because it's too much. So now I have that on there. I have it set to where my screen time, my downtime comes on my iPhone. It shuts it off. I don't get on until after I think like 8 or 9. And then
Yes.
at night, after like 8 o'clock, everything's shut down. I have time before I get to go to bed with no phone.
Good job. You already, you're ready for that movement. You're ready for the Socialite Stars movement. You understand it,
Yes,
and
for
it's
sure.
hard. I let people know I had to even do it as a digital content creator. It is very hard in my other business.
That's a spot too where I'm like, how do you find the line between like, I need to be doing these things, I need to be engaging, and I need to be creating content to post content. And it's like you end up sitting on this phone for hours and hours and hours at a time.
Hmm.
And it's mentally, it's exhausting, to
Yes,
be
it is.
honest.
It is.
So it's like, how do you balance?
I have to create a list of what content I need to create for what client. That's what I've had to learn to do. I also have a calendar for myself because I manage a nonprofit page and my own branding business page along with my other clients' pages. So I write down what needs to be done. I write down things on a calendar. So that helps me know what the goals are for the week. Sometimes I have to do it for the week. Sometimes I do it per day because I am old and I forget. Like, yeah, the sister is in her 40s and I have two boys as well. So yes, I do forget at times. So that is what is helping me. It is, and it's helped me tremendously. I also have a digital wellness app on my phone. It actually came with the new Samsung Galaxy phone. There actually is an app in there where you can put focus time and bedtime mode. So my phone will go to grayscale at 10 o'clock and it won't
Hmm.
come back to color until like 5:50 in the morning.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think I'm so grateful for the phones and Apple and all the
Yeah.
people, the creators, for putting in these
Yes.
parameters for us because clearly we
It's a
wouldn't know
lot.
what to do
Yes,
without it.
absolutely.
We need
Absolutely.
those things, the tools to be able to put those boundaries up for
Right.
ourselves.
Also, my notifications are on silent. That's something that I actually had to do after the trauma of February, this past
Hmm.
February. I had to end up putting my notifications on silent because I felt like every time I heard a notification, it was somebody coming at
It
me.
was, yeah. So it starts to build that anxiety.
Yes, my heart would literally start beating fast when I would see a notification. And it was not until, and I still go through it sometimes. Sometimes when I see an inbox notification, I'm like, okay, here we go. Let me see. And then most of the time, it's good now because that those boundaries have been implemented on her end. Unfortunately, legal, legal
Legal
boundaries.
boundaries. Sometimes you need a
All
little
right,
help.
yeah. So yes, but my notifications I'm still on silent. I'm probably never going to take them off silent. If I miss a call, I'll return the call. If I miss a text, I'll text back.
Yeah, I agree. So, how do you think this is thinking? Because I have a teenage daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard for me, I'll say, to put boundaries on her phone. Like, I have the downtime and she only gets a certain amount of time on apps and this and that.
Yes.
But she
Yes.
also has a laptop. So, it's like,
Uh-huh.
so, but, but
Mhm.
even that, like knowing like what they're looking at and the things that they're experiencing, I actually had a conversation with her a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I remember what it was like to be 14,
Yes.
but I was not 14 in this era
Absolutely.
where somebody can post something or
Mm-hmm.
say something about you online, where for us it would linger like maybe a day or two, whatever, and then or maybe by the end of the school day somebody would forget. But
Right.
now
It's
no one's
there.
forgetting. It's
Yes.
there forever and it's circulating. So even if it's not just in your immediate circle where something happened and you had an argument with a friend or something like
Yes.
that, now it expands. It's bigger
Yes.
than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to. I don't even know what to tell her. I'm like, I don't know. Just how do I help them navigate that? Are there any tips and tricks that you have for parents when it comes to teaching their kids how to deal with the negativity online?
Yes. That's a great question. I've had the pleasure of talking about this at some parent workshops. I encourage parents to have that open dialogue with their children. If your child has experienced some type of social media trauma or cyberbullying, have that dialogue and let them know you can come and talk to me about anything that is going on social media. I am here to help you. I am here to protect you. What that person is doing is wrong. Period, point blank. And let them know that unfortunately with the world we live in, it looks like it's okay to post a fight or to post a text thread or to post receipts of any kind to prove something to the world. But I've let parents know that it is tell your child that it's not their fault. We have to let our children know that it's not their fault. Because a lot of times children feel like, oh, it's my fault. I shouldn't have said something. I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have done this. The actions that cause the post may be the actions that are in the post may be your child's fault. Let's leave that there. But the person that posted it, that's not their fault. Because a person chooses what they want to post. And then I encourage parents to understand when we want to just get upset. We want to tell the child, well, you shouldn't have done that. And then maybe they wouldn't have posted this.
So
Or
that is not my initial reaction. My initial reaction is always F them kids, and if they got a problem, they can come talk to
that
me.
too. That too. That too. I'm trying to be politically correct. I'm gonna go there in a minute though. Like we have to let our children know, ask them, do you know this person? How do I get in touch with this person? And then I'm going to ask them, how do I get in touch with their parents? See, I'm that type of person. I want to talk to your parent. Does your parent know that you are on social media cutting up like this? And
Probably
if
not.
it needs to go a little bit in depth, let me see what is going on, and I'm going to present it to the administration at your school. And if administration doesn't want to do something about it, I'm going to the school board. See, there's no limits, especially if your child is being cyberbullied or cyberstalked. It is a crime of period, point blank. And you go as far as you need to protect your children. And yes, it could be F them. Yeah, because again, your child had a purpose before they had an opinion. It's empower them in that too. But just let them know that the choices that people make, it's not her fault. It's not. We have to realize, even with children and adults, when we see a post and we know it's going there to that point, what's your purpose in doing this? Who you trying to impress? Because
And
whatever
why?
happened
And
between
why
you
is that what you're using to try to impress somebody?
right. Because
Make
whatever
it
you
make
went through
sense.
with that person, everybody doesn't need to know about it. So who are
Yeah.
you trying to prove something to? Who you trying to get attention from? A lot of times it's just attention seeking. That's one thing I can't stand about social media, man.
That social media has created that culture. And
Ooh,
it's like, I'm sure everybody's done it at some point in their life. Everybody wants to
absolutely.
be
I haven't
seen.
been
Everybody
perfect on
wants to,
social media. Yeah.
no, but everybody wants, even in life in general, everybody wants to be
Yes.
seen and acknowledged
Mm-hmm.
and accepted. But
Yes.
this has taken it to a completely
Correct.
different level.
Correct. And I also encourage parents to let their children know what they see posted. That may not be that person's house. That may not be that person's car. That's one moment in time that that person is doing good. That person might even be homeless. You don't know that person's background. So don't let what looks like they're living a good life, don't let that move and shake you into a direction where you feel like you need to go somewhere else or you need to be at a certain level because you're looking at other people's progression. You don't know how long it took them to get there. A lot of children now, oh, I want to be a content creator. I want to get paid.
But they don't know
Listen,
how much work it is.
it is 24 hours, 7 days a week. I have friends who are influencers. And even then, sometimes they have to take a break because it is constantly going to this restaurant, going to this business. You
And
know,
then for me, it's just the act of having to carry this camera and be mindful of the thought that I need to get content. I need to get this
yes,
on camera
yes,
24 hours a day.
and
I
you're
leave the
right.
tripod in the car. I
Yep,
might leave my phone in the car on accident. I don't
yes,
have the
and it's
capacity to think about that all the
right.
time.
Your content has to have a certain frame rate. It needs to be bright. It is so many other pieces to it. You can't have a shaky phone. You've got to be able to. It's so many factors to when children are like, I want to be a content creator because now that's what children want to do. I remember when my son was growing up, he wanted to be a YouTuber because back then it was like,
Hmm.
and I told him, I said, no, you don't. I said, no, you don't. I said, that's not what you
Yes.
want to do for the rest of your life. And that's not what you're going to do for your rest of your life. But he was young. Now he wants to be a fashion designer. So, hey, he wants to be an
Good job.
entrepreneur like his mama. But that goes, but my children grew up in the
Yeah.
digital era, the social media era. So I hope I answered your question on how to handle
You
situations
did,
with children.
absolutely. I do have a follow-up question for that too. Like,
Sure.
if you suspect that your child is the
Mhm.
one that's being mean and nasty, how do you suggest approaching that?
Um, I actually, my youngest son, he didn't go too far, but this was when we were still in was pandemic mode. They were virtual.
Hmm.
So he was spamming somebody being fun. He was trying to be funny, but he's not understanding what it was causing. Like the child actually told the parent, and the parent told the teacher. He actually got in trouble. He was saying, crazy, you're this, you're that. He wasn't cursing, but he was
Hmm.
getting there. Just trying to amp up some
Push
stuff that
buttons.
yes. So we had a very long talk. Very long talk. This was even before Socialite Stars. It happened a little bit after the incident that happened in February, and I told him, I said, "Did you not just see what we went through on social media?" I said, "You didn't see it, but I explained to you all what happened." And I said, "Do you know you can get charged for this? I mean, if you're an adult and you do crazy things of this magnitude and you say things just all willy nilly."
It
I was
has
like, "You see,
consequences.
right?" I was like, they were trying to like suspend him for a day because it's considered cyber stalking. So I
Mm.
had to have a very real conversation with him. This is when he was younger, but now he would never do it. Now the way his accounts are set up, he doesn't put his face on his accounts, and you can't tag him unless he follows you back. And a lot of that is because of what has happened to us this year. But yeah,
Those are good parameters to have.
yes,
But
it just
yeah, and it's
yeah.
like, because it's I try to teach, because you want your kids to be empathetic, right? So I tell mine all
Yes,
the
yes.
time, when I tell them, they say things to people, and I'm like, how would you feel if somebody said that to you?
Right.
Or if somebody said that to your friend, and you don't know what their life is like. You don't know
Correct.
what they have going on at home. So
Correct.
y'all may be bullying this kid because he wore the same sweatshirt 5 days in a row or whatever the stupid reason is.
Right.
But you don't know if he has somewhere to go to home to at
He
night.
may be in a hotel. Mhm.
You don't know what the situation is. And
Right.
you doing that is causing more damage.
Correct.
So be kind to people. Be
Exactly.
nice.
That's a part
Mind
of,
your business.
right. Right. That's a part of our digital citizenship platform as well. That empathy, remembering that it could be you on the other side of that. It could be you on the other side of that screen, on the other foot, because you don't know people's
Easily.
situation easily. It can be you. Even adults need to understand that too. It could be you at any time.
Beautiful. That's awesome. This is great work that you're doing. So do you host your web workshops virtually, or are they in Charlotte?
Most of them are in person in Charlotte.
Okay.
The organizations will reach out to me, or sometimes I'll reach out to organizations and let them know that I'm interested in providing a service.
Okay.
The last one I just did was Goal Achievers, which is a program here in Charlotte in which they have high school students visit colleges within North Carolina and South Carolina and Virginia.
Okay.
So yeah, and they also teach them other technical career paths. So it's pretty cool. It's ran by an African American woman. She's amazing, Courtney Coble. She's great. So then I've also had the opportunity to hold parent workshops at Greater Enrichment Program, which is an after-school program here in Charlotte.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's just whenever someone reaches out to me, I think my goal for 2025 is to actually have my own workshop.
You can do it. This is information that is absolutely necessary. And I think that because your story is so real and so raw and so personal, it's a lot more relatable than just people saying, be nice to people on the internet. Like,
Right.
and not realizing that it can be somebody as close to you, like you said, as your sister.
Yes.
And you never know what can happen, how the tables can turn.
Yes.
And you need to be prepared, and you need to do your part to make sure that these things aren't happening to people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then also just encouraging people to know where to put those boundaries in, to follow certain pages and to block certain pages. Your FYP and your timeline needs to be clean and void of negativity, because whatever that person posts, you're taking in that energy. Any negative post, a recording, the live, whatever, you're taking on that person's negativity in your mental health. And why are you letting somebody take your power? I have no clue. But evidently you have not been educated by Socialite Stars. So I'm going to educate you now.
Gotta let them know.
Yeah, let them know. You have the power. You can put the phone down. You can block and delete people. That's something
Maybe
else.
I use my block button.
Yes.
Effortlessly.
Yes.
Everybody gets blocked. Say something I don't like, you're getting blocked.
That's what
I don't have the energy to go back and forth with you, so I just don't deal with it.
Right. Expect children and adults. Why are you arguing with somebody on social media? Especially during the election time. I had to kind of post reminders from Socialite Stars that everybody's opinion is just that. You don't have to comment on it. You don't have to engage in it. You don't even have to be on your phone. You have the power. You have the choice on whether you're going to pick this up or not. It's your choice. It's your choice.
That's beautiful. This is amazing, and I'm so glad that you're doing this. I have one question for you too.
Sure.
And if you don't have any, I don't know anything else that you wanted to highlight. Do you have anything coming up that you wanted to highlight, or?
Giving Tuesday is coming up.
Giving Tuesday is coming up.
Giving Tuesday is coming up. The Socialite Stars goal it's a small goal. It's $200, but we just want you to invest $5 into the movement. As you can tell, we have a major movement here in Charlotte, and I'm willing to travel too. So when you hear this podcast, please contact me. I hope you'll have my social media handles
Yep,
in
it's all
the
going to be in the show
descriptions.
notes. Everything's going to be there.
Yes,
If you have a donation link that you want to send me as well, we
yes,
can
I
plug that
will.
into the show notes too.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we have that way of investing. Also, when you go on the Social Light Stars page, there's other free ways to invest in our Giving Tuesday. We had Small Business Saturday this past Saturday, and one of the last posts are a few of the stars that talked about how Social Light Stars has made an impact on their life, which was amazing to get those people together to do that for me. So yeah, so that's what's coming up right now, Giving Tuesday. We don't have anything else major until the top of 2025. Season 2 of the Social Light Stars podcast will be in January 2025. So right now at the end of the year, we're just building. We're not even 1 year old yet. So Social Light Stars is still a baby. But yeah.
But you're doing amazing work, and I'm
Thank you.
glad to see it. I'm so
Thank
glad to
you.
see it.
Thank you.
And how do you feel like this has impacted your views on mental health as an entrepreneur, as a mother, just in general?
The situation itself has made a major impact on my mental health. Anybody that I feel like triggers my past traumas, I can't be around them. I know before we got on the recording, I talked about how I actually left work due to mental health. I tell people all the time, if it's triggering traumas, leave it. It does not matter if it's a job. You can find another job. Your job is not worth your mental health. I never thought in a million years I would have to go to therapy because of something that a family member did to me, but I had to. I encourage therapy. I encourage counseling. It will help you. The stigma is that, oh, you don't know those people, so you shouldn't care what they have to say about you. Oh, you can just block and delete them. Or you can just block their number so they can't text you. All of that is true. However,
Words still hurt.
Words still hurt. And they hurt more now than when it was when we were a kid. Because when you say it, it hits different until you actually see it in a sentence. And it's a digital footprint. Because all those folks that had everything to say about me, I got their digital footprint in my Google Photos. So I tell people all the time, be careful what you say. Because it's a digital footprint. It's there. It's not going anywhere.
Once it's out there, it's out there.
Once it's out there in the atmosphere, it is there. And you can delete it, but if you're tech savvy like I am, I can find it. It's out there in the atmosphere. So mental health is major when it comes to digital wellness and social media trauma. We sometimes joke about celebrities and what they go through. And yes, if you see something, their mistake, just for example, Diddy, we weren't there. We're just going by what we hear. And he's serving time. Evidently, there's some truth to it if he's serving some type of time.
They got evidence.
Correct.
They got receipts.
Correct. But it is not our job to comment on it on social media. Like, it's just not, again, it could be you.
Especially in that situation. I know they were saying about his sons and things like that, but you don't know what your parents got going on all the time.
Exactly.
So let's not do that.
Correct. Yeah. I say that, and they were talking about how his mental health is not well right now. Of course it's not. He's not used to being somewhere where he's told when to go to bed, when to get up, what he can eat.
And being scrutinized the way that he is. He's always been an icon, a legend, a mogul. He's been praised his whole career.
Right. And I'm not here to judge him for what he's done, but we're talking about mental health. And it's different than back in the day. You look like a baby. So I don't know if you knew about the tabloid newspapers that used to pick up.
Yes.
Because if somebody didn't pick it up, then they're just going by hearsay. If I pick this up and his was trending on every social media platform that I can think of. It was right there in my face. So yes, it's different than back in 1999 where I had to buy the newspaper to see what you did wrong. And now it's free now.
Yeah.
And now
in the palm of everybody's hand.
And now I can actually comment, and honey, somebody might like my comment, and I want my comment to be the one. For what?
Yep.
For what? And I tell people that all the time. People comment because they want their comment to be the one. That's why they were mad at me, because I was deleting comments. And I'm like, well, why are they getting mad? And I had to go back and think about it. Oh, you wanted your comment to be the one.
They
You
wanted
didn't
the
care about what was
recognition.
going on with me. You wanted your little raggedy comment to be the one that everybody saw and liked. People are so selfish now. That's why our mental health is so jacked up. Because when it comes to these digital devices, everybody's selfish. Everybody for them. Everybody wants that clout.
The sense of community is gone.
Yes, it is. It is. So yes, you going back to mental health and social media, it's a big deal. I read stories of children who commit suicide because of bullying. It's a real deal. And everybody's going to have something negative to say about it. But until you've had somebody tell you that you need to die, you deserve to die, you don't deserve to heal, you don't deserve to grow, F you and your nonprofit. Until you go through those things, until you get voicemails saying, drop your address, I'm gonna come get you. You don't understand the mental capacity. And it does not matter if they're a nobody or if they're A-list or a B-list celebrity. It does not matter. Nobody has the right to troll somebody's page and come for them like that.
And compromise their safety.
Yes. And then, of course, as her defense lawyer said, in their freedom of speech, oh, she's an influencer. She has to be used to it, which I don't consider myself an influencer. When she said, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Right. Hold on. Let me.
But yeah, there's people out here that feel the way the defense attorney feels, that it's always freedom of speech. Your page is up there. It's public. So you should be able to deal with, people feel this way. You should be able to deal with whatever comments come your way. You're an influencer. You're a celebrity. You got to deal with it. I've seen comments. That's what comes with the territory of being a celebrity. Until you've been in that situation, until you feel like suicidal, until you feel like you want to kill yourself. And I'm coming from a space of me. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. Until you feel the guilt of, well, maybe I don't deserve to be here. Maybe I do deserve to die. Until you start writing out the plan, until your husband has to get off work to come home because he don't know if he come home, I'm going to be alive or dead. He doesn't know if I'm going to leave. Until you get to that point,
you have no idea.
You have none. So I'm grateful. I thank God for my therapist, Shaniqua Lee. She's amazing African-American therapist. She's virtual.
We love a Black therapist.
Yes. I thank God for her. I thank God for my husband, who became a caretaker and didn't know how to become a caretaker. You know what I mean? There's so many moving parts to my story of survival.
It is. And that's in general. Like people need support, and it's like to be able to have that. And everyone doesn't have that support. Everybody doesn't have a partner that would be understanding or willing to learn enough to be understanding, to be able to support you. And that's beautiful. And I think that it's really powerful that you are sharing your story, and I commend you. And I'm so grateful that you are here and doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I need people to understand. We talked about some of the negative aspects of social media, but if you use social media correctly, this is my 4th podcast in about 5 months, because I was on social media doing my thing in the positive way. So yes, we talk about some of the negative aspects. Yes, but I also talk about on TikTok, on some other platforms of mine. There are positive aspects to social media. There's great positive influencers that are in this timeline heavy, and I love it for them. You can build connections with people. You can find wonderful podcasts like my homegirl right here, my new socialite
connect
star.
With people who connect with people who are on the same wave as you.
Yes, absolutely. There's but it's up to you to figure out if that's what you want. It's your choice. I say it all the time. It's your choice on your digital device.
Yes. I was going to ask you, I was like, is there one thing that you want people to take away? That's been my thing. Asking everybody, what if within your space and in your community, within your nonprofit, within your orbit, if there's one thing that you want people to take with them from their interactions with you, what would that be?
You had a purpose before they had an opinion.
Let me clap it up for that. Yes, clap it up.
It's
Because
real
that is a
simple.
word, and that is 100%. And don't forget that. Everybody needs to like tack that to their desk somewhere.
Yes,
Tape it to the
yes,
back of your phone,
yes,
something.
please. And then put at Socialite Stars, 1L, Socialite
Yes.
Stars.
Yes, yes. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time today. And I'm so grateful, like I said, that you are doing the work that you're doing and spreading the message that you're spreading because it's needed.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Simone,
Yes, thank
I
you.
love the way you spell that, honey.
Thank
That's-
you. I get called everything, girl, from cinnamon to Shimone to girl.
I think because I've also been in the education field for 20 years as well, so I can kind of figure out how to. You should see how many. Hey, I used to be a classroom teacher. I've seen
I'm
names
sure.
spelled from up to down. I'm just like, okay, wait a minute, baby. I know Mama was trying to be unique. I'm Miss T gonna get it right. Let me see. Let's sound it out. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I will not hold you anymore. I'll cut this part out because if
Okay.
I end it now, it's gonna kick both of us out.
Oh wow.
so,
Okay.
so I'm gonna edit it. They usually publish on Tuesday, so it probably won't be this Tuesday, but next Tuesday.
Okay. Will you email
Um,
me the link?
Yep, I'll email you the link, and then I'm gonna pull clips too, and I'll email them to you so you can use them however you want to use them. And then any promo. Is there any picture that you would like to use for promo?
Yes, if you don't
You can.
mind. I'm going to actually put the link to our Cash App. Well, not the link. I'm sorry. The tag in
Mhm.
here. So if anybody, the Giving Tuesday is like a Cash App campaign.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Well,
And
I'll
I'll
include
email
that in the show
you.
notes.
Yes, I'll email you the last set of headshots when I had short hair. So I need some more done.
No worries. Well, we'll use those, and then I'll include those in the promo and stuff and everything as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. How often do you come to Charlotte?
I pass through here and there. I have family that lives in Goldsboro.
Yeah, I know where that is.
But most people don't. But I do. But I don't go that often, honestly. But
Aw,
Charlotte, I hear, is beautiful.
it's
I have a friend
nice.
of mine that's from Charlotte, and she raves about it all the time. She goes home all the time.
She lives in Atlanta?
Hmm.
Oh, what made her move to Atlanta?
I don't know. I can't remember. She's been here for a while. But her parents and like her sister and everybody are still in Charlotte.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we full. I tell people all the time, please don't move here.
You sound like us in Atlanta. Please don't move
We
here.
full.
And I'm not
Ooh.
even from here originally, but I moved here. I didn't have a choice. Okay.
You're from Goldsboro?
No, I'm from California. I grew up in Sacramento,
Oh wow.
and my dad's family is from Goldsboro.
Gotcha. Okay,
Hmm.
gotcha. Charlotte is definitely changing. I'm from this area. I've been here forever. Graduated from A&T and then moved back to Charlotte after graduating. So to see the evolution of Charlotte now, it's very metropolitan. That's what they want.
That's what I'm hearing. They're saying it's like the next Atlanta. That's what I keep hearing.
Unfortunately. See, when you're from Charlotte, that's not what you want. That's not what you like. That's not what you want. I think when you're from this area and you're just used to it being known as the largest city in North Carolina, and people love to come and visit, and it had that urban feel to it.
Hmm.
When it's evolving to what it is now, we're just looking around like, what is this? It's hard for those of us that grew up down here because we have
Yeah,
no
it's
more
changing.
childhood. There's the skating rings we used to grow up at is not there. The mall we grew up in is not there. And if the mall is there, it's about to close because they're pulling stuff. The mall can't survive anymore due to online
Yeah.
shopping and Concord Mills, which is the well-known one of the Simon malls, the outlet
Hmm.
malls. So yeah, like it's just from a
Yeah,
heart perspective, it's just hard for
it's
us that
hard to
are.
watch.
It's not that many Charlotteans left in Charlotte. So we do
Transplants.
find
It's becoming Atlanta.
it
No,
is
we always joke nobody that lives in Atlanta is from Atlanta.
right,
Everybody's from somewhere
right.
else.
So there, those of us that find each other, we're like, oh my God. And then we just go down memory lane. You're like, you remember when? You remember when? And it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, you see, it's this now and it's that now. So yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool though. We're just waiting on this last baby to finish high school. And then we're gonna focus on moving.
Sounds like a plan. Well, thank you, thank you. I won't keep you anymore. I'm
Well,
gonna
you're
get
fine,
to work
Cinnamon.
on editing. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
get
did
to
that on
work on.
purpose. I did that on purpose.
I love it. I know my PE coach in 7th grade literally used to call me Cinnamon, and I was like, "What?" Anyways, but yeah,
Simone. 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 That's
that's
it.
it. That's it. And if you went to school, you would know that C and I make an S sound when they're put together. You would know that.
Jesus. You would think, right? Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
well, anyways. But yes, thank you so much. I'll get everything over to you and I'm gonna look for your email with the photos and stuff so I can get to work on all of
Okay,
this.
I'm about to send you the photo right now. And then
Perfect.
you'll email me the link for when it's ready. Okay, perfect. Because then
Yep.
I'll put it like in my story, and then I'll put it as a part of my link tree. I have like all of my interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I will get all that over to you.
Thank you. You have a great
Thank
day,
you.
sweetheart.
You too. Bye.
Bye.